Good afternoon. I'm Pinellas County Sheriff Bob Gualtieri, and we're here today to announce several arrests. But before I do, I just want to make some remarks about what's been going on out here on the Pinellas beaches. We all know that Pinellas County has suffered devastating damage from back-to-back hurricanes, Helene and Milton. And the number one priority of the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office from the time that these storms formed in the Gulf has been the safety and the security of our residents, businesses, and guests. Before Hurricane Helene passed by the Pinellas coast, causing unprecedented storm surge that destroyed many homes and businesses throughout the county, especially here on the Pinellas beaches, we asked people to evacuate, and some did, and some did not. Sadly, because of not evacuating, 12 people died in Pinellas County from Hurricane Helene. Within days of Hurricane Helene passing by us, Milton was predicted to directly hit the Pinellas County coast as a Category 5 hurricane, and we again asked people to evacuate, and most people did, leaving many residential areas, including the Pinellas beaches, a complete ghost town. The mandatory evacuation order affected over 500,000 residents of Pinellas County. With some people still without power post-Helene and people washed out of their homes and businesses, we assured our residents and business owners that the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office would saturate their neighborhoods and businesses with deputies to prevent looting and deter those who wanted to wreak further havoc from doing so. We wanted people to feel safe so that they could evacuate and not worry about their properties. During that time, we had about 80 extra deputies per night and about 30 extra deputies each day patrolling these beach communities and other places to apprehend those who were here to steal and cause further damage. Between October 2nd and October 23rd, just in the last 21 days, we've arrested 45 people in the Pinellas Beach communities on 68 different charges, including armed robbery, burglary, loitering and prowling, grand theft, vandalism, and trespass. Of the 45 burglars and thieves that we've arrested, only 2 were from Pinellas County. The rest came here from out of the area to steal from our residents and businesses. Now, of these 45 burglars and thieves who came here to steal, 41 out of the 45 are not U.S. citizens, and they're here illegally from Mexico, Cuba, Colombia, Honduras, Venezuela, and other countries. In addition to the 45 that we have arrested, deputies have had contact with, think about this number, we've had contact with 196 other individuals who are in these beach neighborhoods where they did not belong. At times they should not be there, doing things they should not be doing, but we did not have probable cause to arrest these people, so we made contact with them and told them to get out. A lot of these people were in the area to take others' property, and our deputies' efforts prevented additional crimes from occurring. Now, of these 196 people that we had contact with and we got them out of here, 141 were not from Pinellas County. And 163 of the 196 people were not U.S. citizens. Again, most were from these countries in Central and South America. So as the Pinellas beaches recover, we're going to continue these patrols and arrest everyone we can who is stealing from the vulnerable victims of 2 back-to-back storms that have devastated our community. Our effort at protecting the community has not stopped with these hurricanes' direct impact. And we're now focused on protecting our residents and our businesses who are desperate to rebuild and get on with their lives from being exploited and ripped off by people offering to do work on their property, but in some cases have no intention of doing the work. In other cases are unqualified to do the work, and in all of these cases are unlicensed to do the work. We see this too often in storm-devastated communities where people come in after a hurricane and solicit work, get down payments to secure a place in the line because these contractors are so backed up, and then they never do the work, never complete the work, or they do shoddy work that does not meet code and then has to be redone at additional cost. These people are simply scammers and thieves, and no different than the people in the neighborhoods at 3 a.m. breaking into a house that we've been arresting. After these unlicensed people rip off consumers, we then get inundated with theft and scheme to defraud cases where we have to investigate these supposed contractors who have double victimized vulnerable people and who are simply trying to get on with their lives. So to try and curb some of the illegal activity by those who want to simply rip off others, For the past 3 days, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, along with Pinellas County Consumer Protection Pinellas County Construction Licensing Board, the Florida Department of Business and Professional Regulation, the Florida Department of Financial Services, the City of Madeira Beach, and the State Attorney's Office for the 6th Judicial Circuit of Florida have been conducting an undercover, unlicensed contractor operation here in Madeira Beach. We've had teams of undercover detectives at various locations visited by people who held themselves out to be licensed contractors, able and qualified to do plumbing, electrical, air conditioning, roofing, and structural work. Since Tuesday, we have arrested 58 people on about 80 different charges for engaging in unlicensed contracting in violation of Florida law. Because the community is under a state of emergency declared by the governor, each of these charges are felonies under Florida Statute 489.127. Now, there's good reason why Florida law requires that people who do significant and complex work, like electrical work and plumbing, be licensed. It shows that they have the proper education, they have the proper training, and have demonstrated skills necessary to do this important work. Licensing also ensures accountability and gives citizens the confidence that the work will be done properly and that they will not be ripped off. During this undercover investigation, unlicensed people offered to do over 75 different construction projects totaling over $250,000, over $250,000 worth of work. Many of these people, like the other thieves and scammers we have encountered and arrested, are not from Pinellas County. 21 of the 58 are not Pinellas residents. More importantly, many of them have criminal histories for everything from engaging in unlicensed contracting to theft, fraud, burglary, robbery, and other crimes, showing that they're really thieves looking to prey on vulnerable people who are hurting and who don't need to be victimized again. A few examples, and the people are here on these boards. First one is Stephen Valteri, who came to our county from Tampa to do construction work. He is unlicensed and has previously been arrested for unlawful acts while in the capacity of a contractor, falsely identifying as a licensed contractor, failing to register as a sexual predator, deriving proceeds from prostitution, and many drug crimes. Another one of the people on these boards is Shay Gannison. He's from Clearwater. He offered to do unlicensed plumbing and electrical work for $4,000. He has previously been arrested for burglary of a home, dealing in stolen property, and resisting arrest. And then another one over here is Todd Gerst. He's also from Clearwater, who offered to do unlicensed electrical work for $3,000, and his criminal arrest record involves crimes of theft, fraud, probation violations, forgery, illegal use of credit cards, selling counterfeit goods, organized scheme to defraud, burglary, dealing in stolen property, false verification and ownership of property, and aggravated stalking. Would anyone want to give this guy, who is a demonstrated scammer and thief, who is not showing he has the proper skills to do the work of an electrician, $4,000 to do electrical work in their home? Now, you see over here on my far right on your left a business card. And this is one of the guys that showed up today. And the business card that we have is for Antonio Plumbing, LLC. Get those set back up. There we go. And so the business card, as you can see, is for Antonio Plumbing, LLC. Now, as you can see down in the bottom right, the names of St. Petersburg and Plant City are misspelled. But more importantly, it represents to the consumer that the company is an active Florida company registered with the state as an LLC or a limited liability company. That's a misrepresentation, it's a lie, and fraud on the consumer. There is no such active LLC registered with the state of Florida. That company was dissolved earlier this year. The person who provided that business card with all the misspellings and representing to be an LLC is Jose Cruz Lopez. Lopez currently has a pending gun charge out of Puerto Rico. He's on probation for drug distribution and for operating a continuing criminal enterprise. So Lopez is not licensed, and his supposed company is a sham, and the only thing that's accurate about him is he's a convicted felon who's on probation. Now, adherence to the licensing process in Florida is important, and it matters, because it involves a criminal history check, and whether someone has a criminal history is a factor in whether that person is issued a construction license. So by engaging in unlicensed contracting, these felons avoid the whole vetting process that licensing provides and the assurances that it brings to consumers as to who they are bringing into their homes to do this very important work. Now, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office will continue to do all we can to protect our residents, guests, and businesses from people looking to steal from them and rip them off during the most vulnerable of times. People need to be able to rebuild, restore their lives, and we're going to do all we can to help them do that without being double victimized as hurricane victims and victimized by scammers and thieves. So my message is, don't come to Pinellas County and steal in these storm-ravaged communities. Don't prey on people who are trying to recover, because if you do, you're going to go to jail on multiple felony charges. Now, the numbers I gave you are, as of this morning, we've got some updated numbers, and a couple of the people here now that were arrested this afternoon that make up some of these updated numbers. And right now it's 63 arrests on 93 different charges is the total so far as of the last hour. And these two guys make up those most recent numbers. Does anybody have any questions? No, and that's really pretty telling and pretty sad, actually, is that this whole operation was solely on a couple of streets here in Madeira Beach. And this is just prevalent up and down the Pinellas beaches, from Clearwater all the way down to St. Pete Beach. We chose to focus this operation today in the last couple of days here in Madeira, but this is just on a couple of streets where we got these numbers here in Madeira Beach. No, that's even worse about it, because it's a whole bunch of different people that are all disjointed that are just coming in here and preying on our residents and businesses. They're just, again, the majority of them are from out of the area. Unfortunately, as I said, by these numbers, and you can see, is a lot of these people that are here doing this stuff are here illegally, and they're just really just swarming in, and it is a big problem. So it is not any organization or structure to it. Yeah, well, I mean, that's something that, down the road, as far as insurance fraud or anything would have to happen. Right now, we're focused on trying to prevent this by doing these operations and trying to prevent those people from getting ripped off. So that's our primary focus right now. Go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what the deputies are seeing with all these numbers, and as I've said here, with all the anti-looting patrols and all these charges and all of these people, is that they're going into people's homes, they're taking stuff, they're rummaging through their things. In one case, it was an armed robbery where they went in and they stole from them forcibly, and it's just a whole lot of people, and none of them belong out here. Is that they're all coming from someplace else, and they're all coming simply to break into homes, go into garages, take stuff off people's property, and be where they shouldn't be and taking people's stuff. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, and we're just seeing tons of it. So, when we look at the number of people in these 196 different contacts that we had where we had these people, and the majority of them are from out of the area, and the majority of them aren't here legally in the country, and we're telling them to get the hell out. And by doing that is that we're keeping some of these crimes from happening. If we weren't out here, and we weren't approaching these people and telling them to get out, think about how many more burglaries and thefts and trespasses and all these other crimes we would have, because we're encountering those people and telling them to move on. Otherwise, they'd be here stealing.
When you watch the communities like this be destroyed and continually get back into their homes, your team's been trying to keep everybody safe this last month. In particular, how frustrating is it to A, have to put your resources towards this, and B, have to watch this happen?
Well, huge, and it's maddening, because this is the epitome of people trying to exploit others when they're down and when they're out and they're trying to rebuild and they got nothing. I mean, go look at these neighborhoods out here in Madeira Beach, the Reddingtons and Indian Shores. Go back in those places. A month later, everything that these people owned, in a lot of the cases, or a lot of it, is sitting in their front yards because the debris still hasn't been removed. These people are hurting really, really badly, and these people are coming in and saying, well, I'm going to go into your house, and anything you didn't put on the curb, I'm just going to steal your stuff. And so it is very frustrating. It is maddening, and people just stay out of here. And if you don't have business being here, don't come. And it is really frustrating. And we are having to use a lot of resources on it. But I'm sorry we have to commit the resources, because people are doing these bad acts towards our residents and our guests and our business owners. But I'm happy to provide the resources to do it, because we got to stop it. if they can, but the problem now is that there's not much they can do. That's why they're so vulnerable, because everything they own is been destroyed, and they have limited places to go with anything. And these people are just, again, they're just coming out here trying to exploit them when these people are literally at the bottom trying to rebuild. Some of them were. Now, I can't tell you, and I don't know specifically whether they were wearing orange vests. Some of them say, we're just out here to help. We're just out here looking for work. We're looking out. But a lot of them had, and I could sit here for another hour and tell you about all their criminal histories and all the things they were doing and where they are. That's all a bunch of nonsense, and that's not what they were here for. If people are here to work, we want people to come out here and work. We want people to do legitimate work. We want to get this debris out of here. We want these communities to recover. But all those people, not them. Right. A lot of them are coming in, and they're coming in various vehicles. We're seeing a lot are coming in with out-of-state tags, Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, out-of-state tags. And what we're also seeing is that they don't have a place to stay, so they're sleeping in like Dolphin Village parking lot in St. Pete Beach. They're sleeping on the beach. They're sleeping in different places. Again, they just shouldn't be here doing this. Yeah, I mean, that's just what we called it, and that is, the operation we've done the last 3 days, but the ongoing operation is with all the anti-looting patrols, but all of these charges involving the unlicensed contracting is what we've done over the last 3 days. Yep. Yeah, go ahead. Well, that's not my decision. That is a decision by Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. So when anybody gets booked into the Pinellas County Jail on felony charges, is we do notify ICE, and then ICE makes the decision whether they put a detainer on these people. And some of these people with criminal histories, or they have other pending charges, some of them have warrants out for their arrest. ICE may well do that, and I hope they do. We've had at least a couple, because this is just the sad state of affairs when it comes to immigration in this country. A couple of these people have been previously deported, and they're back again doing this. So that's really an ICE question, and I don't have any say in that. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Any of the businesses that may have been victimized? I'd have to look at the list and see. I know that there have been businesses and residents where we've made arrests, and where we've encountered a lot of these people. It all kind of blends together out here right now, and the businesses, again, most of them are closed. Some of them, thankfully, have been able to reopen, but especially the small ones are still just devastated. Both. We have undercover people out here. We have uniformed deputies out here. People call. Some of it is what they see. Some of it is in response to calls. It's a combination of things. And certainly we want people to call. If they think that something doesn't look right, call, and we're going to take care of it. And we're going to investigate it. If it's somebody that's legit, that's fine. There's no harm in that. But we're going to be very, very on top of these people and what's going on out here, and especially in these neighborhoods and the areas of these small businesses. No, just like Helene is unprecedented for Pinellas County, is the amount of storm surge and the amount of damage, is that what we're seeing now on the backside is unprecedented for Pinellas County. We've never seen anything like this before. So that kind of situation, if you will, continues, where we're continuing to see things that we've never dealt with. We've never seen anything of this magnitude before. We've never seen this influx of people from out of the area that are clearly just here to steal and to pilfer and to do bad things, and to target these vulnerable people. We've never seen this before. Yeah. Well, that's not licensed. So you talk about debris haulers where people are just offering to do stuff. You don't have to be licensed to do that.